My God, I hate drugs.
Is the government's master plan for the rehabilitation of Marawi? Our Rex Remigio gives us a look.
This is how a new Marawi looks like based on the government's initial master plan for the city's rehabilitation. A modern promenade or paved public walk beside Lanao Lake. A clean and green park beside the once bloodied Agus River. Local mosque plazas which look far from the mosque peppered with bullets. A new cultural center in Padian district where Marawi's Grand Mosque is located. The new Padian marketplace where known Maranao traders can sell their products again. The Gumisa Avenue, which is Marawi's main street where people can stroll freely. The Menor Art Street where Maranao artists can freely paint or perform folk dances. Or sell antique Maranao items, sculptures, and furniture. There will also be huge district parks full of trees instead of slabs of destroyed buildings. And the Caloocan Cove Retreat where Maranao families can chill on a weekend.
Meron tayong long-term societal goal, gusto natin resilient, yung ang Marawi City. Meron ding medium to long-term outcome, so yung Marawi City and surrounding communities shall coexist in peace, no?
The government will also put up a 2-hectare memorial site with a museum about the war. And 3 historical sites will be preserved, including the Bato Ali Mosque, where government and Mountie fighters once fiercely fought in gun battles. Task Force Bangon Marawi last month estimated this project design will be more than 17 billion pesos, but now says it will likely cost more. The government earlier chose a group of 5 Chinese and 4 Filipino companies for the project. But the so-called Bangon Marawi Consortium will undergo a Swiss challenge. Here, other consortiums can challenge and outshine the earlier proposal. The Swiss challenge will begin on Saturday and will last for 3 weeks before a winner is chosen. The rehabilitation of Marawi's most affected areas will start in the middle of June.
Yung rehabilitation, yung infrastructure development, lahat yan, lahat ng mga hard projects, ika nga, and lahat ng mga social infrastructure projects, it should be implemented in 3 to 5 years. Kompleto po yan.
The government aims to finish the entire rehabilitation process before President Duterte steps down. However, they admit it will take 10 years before Marawi can fully recover and bring back its former beauty. Rex Remigio, CNN, Philippines.
We have more stories on the first anniversary of the Marawi siege later on in the show. But first, we give you these other important developments. 10 Aegis Juris fratmen charged with the hazing death of law student Horacio Atio Castillo are now spending time in jail. What you're seeing are footage of the fraternity members arriving at the Manila City Jail. A Manila City court ordered their transfer from the custody of the National Bureau of Investigation. The 10 frat members surrendered to the NBI last March after they were ordered arrested. Atio Castillo died after a supposed welcoming party or hazing rites of the Aegis Juris fraternity in September of last year. And we have this breaking news. The Bureau of Immigration denies the appeal of Australian nun Sister Patricia Fox to reinstate her missionary visa. In a 3-page order signed May 17, the Immigration's Board of Commissioners reaffirms its order forfeiting the visa of Sister Fox and ordering her to leave the country. Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente says the order is final and executory, adding they will no longer entertain another appeal. The board also dismissed Fox's assertion that the Bureau forfeited her visa without due process and that allegations she engaged in political activities were not backed with solid evidence. Fox's lawyers earlier sought a reversal of the board's April 23 ruling, directing her to leave the country within 30 days, and that order will lapse tomorrow. The Commission on Appointments confirms the appointment of Sherif Abbas as the new Commission on Elections chairman. Abbas replaces Andres Bautista, who resigned last October in the face of allegations of ill-gotten wealth. President Duterte appointed Abbas as COMELEC chairman back in November. Abbas first served as elections commissioner when he was appointed by former President Noynoy Aquino in April 2015. Abbas was confirmed as commissioner in May 2016. His term as COMELEC chief will expire on February 2nd, 2022. And the search is on for the happiest Pinoy. Microfinance company Cebuana Lulier brings back its nationwide search for the happiest Pinoy in a launching ceremony yesterday afternoon. For its fourth edition, the company targets to highlight a more diverse batch of inspiring Filipinos by introducing 10 new categories. These include senior citizens, the youth, OFWs, persons with disabilities, and LGBTQs.
It's people that not only that inspire a lot of people, somebody with a great happy disposition, and more than anything, somebody that can help, change people's lives for the better. And
welcome back to this special edition of Newsnight, Battle for Marawi, 1 year after. The government says its rehabilitation initiative will take 3 more years and a budget of around 75 billion pesos before Ground Zero in Marawi City is fully rebuilt. Meantime, Lanao del Sur Crisis Management spokesperson Zia Alonto Adyong is encouraging those who want to donate or provide assistance to directly coordinate with the task force Bangon Marawi.
Masalimuot talaga to dahil ito ay conflict-affected area at hindi madali na i-rebuild ang isang conflict-affected area, lalo na in an urban setting na marami kang nasirang mga gusali, pamamahay. Kailangan mo siyempre munang i-clear. Hopefully in the next few months tapos na dahil kailangan na nga ng debris management.
If they want to go directly, for example, provide assistance, they can either go to Task Force Bangon Marawi because we also need to manage yung pumapasok po na tulong. Here in the provincial capital, we have a menu, what we call menu. Kung ano po yung kailangan ng mga tao natin, mga evacuees or doon sa mga temporary shelters, and if any organization willing to help out, they just have to look at the menu para and we also need to know kung ano yung pwede nilang itulong so that it can fit perfectly to the needs of in a certain area.
Catch the replay of my interview with Assistant Secretary Christopher Purisima and spokesman Zia Alonto Adyong on The Source tonight at 7:30. The Psychological Association of the Philippines says about 70% of displaced Marawi residents have gone back to their normal routine, although there are still some showing signs of trauma. Mental Health and Psychosocial Services Group Head Gail Gomez stressed it is important that basic and emotional needs of war victims are fulfilled so they can fully recover from the crisis.
May volunteers na nagre-report sa amin na sabi nga din sa report 70% nakabalik na So maganda naman 'yon, pero still hindi pa katulad nung dati. Nandun pa rin yung takot, may worries pa rin. Although magandang balita yung nakabalik na sila sa routine nila. May mga IDPs tayo na papakita pa rin ng symptoms of trauma. Hindi naman kasi kaagad-agad yun mawawala. Malaking bagay yung you provide a stance that you're available and you're willing to listen. Very important yun that they're eating well already, yung basic needs na ibalik na. Importante sa lahat yung activities na lalabas yung strength nila, na makultivate yung resilience at strength nila. Kasi kapag empowered yung individual, kahit sa ang crisis nalalampas.
What? We now check how things are today in Marawi City. Our senior correspondent, David Santos, joins us live from Ground Zero. David, how were the Marawi residents commemorating the first year since the siege?
Well, Pinky, around this time last year, this area where we are now, just past the Mapandi Bridge, was among many sites of the heavy fighting that broke out all over Marawi as government forces take on mounted fighters. Now only deafening silence as Marawi remembers the fiercest battle that left most parts of the city totally destroyed and razed to the ground.
If the siege in Marawi had a face, this is how she would look like now. Meet baby Marsha, named after martial law. She was born on board a delivery truck as thousands fled Marawi when war broke out a year ago. Like thousands of displaced residents, Marsha's family continues to live in makeshift shelters, still relying on aid donations to get by.
Ang panawagan namin, hustisya sa lahat ng naging biktima ng Marawi siege.
Outside the provincial capital, some disgruntled residents demanding access to the former war zone neighborhoods.
Sinasabi nila may bomba, wala naman ng bomba dyan. 1 year na.
Ang gusto lang namin ng mga Ground Zero is makawi talaga kami, sir, sa pinanggalingan namin.
Their plea directed to President Duterte, who in the past had boasted of his Maranao heritage.
Sana, sir, kung tinoon man ka, Diyos nun, papaulian namin sa amo ang mga balay, kaya dili na ni magwanta na mo. Ang among mga anak, mga masakitan, dili namin kagwanta.
Nagtinda, naghingi. Sa buong buhay namin, hindi namin nagawa yun. Pero yung nagawa namin ng mga umpis ay imposible sa buhay namin.
A year after the siege, the country's longest and most brutal in recent history, Marawi takes time to look back. We spoke to a former Maute member who was recruited to join the conflict but chose to abandon the group weeks later. He now feels sorry for what he and the Maute have done.
Pinanindigan namin yung paniniwala namin pero mali pala. Nagsisi kami talaga.
Walang closure po o walang justice.
Marawi Mayor Mahul Gandamra welcomes government support for surrendering Maute members. But the group's remaining leaders, he insists, should be held criminally liable.
At kung makikita natin na mas nabibigyan pa natin na pagtutuunan natin ng pansin yung mga taong sumira dito sa Marawi City, ay talagang magkakaroon ng demoralization.
Much of Marawi City Center still lies in ruins, even if life has begun to emerge once again in outlying areas. Like most historic cities, Marawi has its own unique culture and identity. 5 months of fierce battle has destroyed so much more than just the landscape.
And like so many parts of Marawi's ground zero, repairing the damage will be a colossal task. And while devastation is extensive, some see an opportunity for the city to rise up from the ruins. Pinky.
David, a question frequently asked is when can the residents from Ground Zero be allowed to return to their communities and get back to their normal lives?
Well, it's a question government is also struggling to give a definitive answer. The war, as we all know, ended 7 months ago. Now, since then, the displaced residents were allowed to visit here, the Ground Zero, at least once. Now, unless changes will be made, it was announced today that finally residents can return to their communities in 18 months or before year-end next year. Now, there was emphasis, though, but not necessarily a requirement on those who can return to Ground Zero. These are residents who can afford to reconstruct their own homes.